Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening.
Are you guys well?
100%. Hoping you're well on your side.
I am well. Thank you. Thank you. Um, Let me just open my screen and then okay, so some people are still coming. Maybe let's let's kick off at 6:05.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Great. I'm just checking. Oh, thumbs up. I see thumbs up. The sun is still out. It does not even feel like an evening. Are we all good? And we are looking forward to this year. It's the beginning of the year. It's still the beginning of the year. We're still doing New Year resolution. We're excited. What are we looking forward to? So for me, I think I always like to just hear, what are you guys looking forward to this year? Why are we here on this open day? What do you want to hear from us? I had an overwhelming good evening. And I'm looking forward to having the chartered accountants who are engaging and who are excited for the journey ahead. Nothing?
At least now, at least now that we can see the face, maybe we can also have voices.
Just yes, that's good. Okay, I'm glad the face is here. See, I'm excited. Are you guys as excited as I am?
Maybe even more excited. This is the beginning of a new journey, and of course, it is exciting. And we're looking forward for Indunamo to make it even with less pain where possible.
With less pain. We want to make sure that, yeah, no, I love that. Just yes, we want to make sure we go through this this part of the professional journey with as little pain as we can have. Let's see if we can do that. All right. So from Josias, he has already clarified. He's looking forward to seeing how Endunamo we can support him to go through this journey, which is he's excited to have with less pain. What are you looking forward to? See a couple of people I know. I was never a fan of Rendani and Asen picking on people. So, and we're professionals, eh? And we're excited. So let's not pick. I'm waiting for at least 2-3 people to tell me, why are you guys here? What are you looking forward to in this year? I'm looking forward to different things. I'm just excited to have you here. So I also want to hear, what are you guys looking forward to? And we are not yet in class, so I shall not be picking up on anyone. Is Rendani and Asen's part. I'm the fun person here. I saw a hand. Eileen, I'm gonna assume.
Yeah, no.
And the name sounds familiar.
Yes.
Welcome back. What are you looking forward to?
Continue with the relationship that I have with you guys, and obviously building a network within this profession, but also discovering this journey from others, because everyone has a story to tell. So yeah.
Great. Yeah, we're looking forward to continue the journey with you, Eileen. We're also excited to make sure that we continue that relationship. We want to keep for us, this relationship is forever, hey? So we love that. I see exciting times ahead. I'm looking forward to expanding my network and learning new things, attaining new experiences. Excited as well. Ubunye. Leroy, I'm looking forward to pass APC and become a CA. My academic head is gonna correct you on the last part. The first part, definitely with you. Looking forward to passing APC and become a CA. We are saying we are starting now. The becoming start now. I'm looking forward to passing IAC and joining the APC class. Kuzo, definitely. And for us, we don't want you to even wait. We are becoming this year, we're becoming CAs, so you don't have to wait for the results. We're gonna walk with faith because we've done the work. and we start as early as possible. But otherwise, good evening, everyone. I think I'm too excited. You'll forgive me. I'm always excited to have you make the time to just come join us. So it's always exciting to have you being as excited as well to come join us in the program team. If you can help me with removing the lobby, that will be greatly appreciated. All right, so I am joined by my team. I have my academic head, Asen. I have got my academic coordinator and our CEO, Rendani, and I have the rest of the team who is here to join and as excited. I think, okay, I'm more excited than them to make sure that we partner with you. For us, we see it as a partnership. We partner with you as you become a CA. We partner with you as we also support you in making sure that you pass on first attempt. That's the whole objective for us, to make sure that you pass on first attempt. So one, as I said, that the session, let's make sure that we make it engaging. This is your session. Asen and Tim have prepared slides for this time around. I always tell Asen, this is not a lecture. So if my candidates say pause, we want to do this, we want to hear more about this, we're going to pause. So please engage. I love the energy on the chat. Continue to send those chats in terms of what you're looking forward to. We want to keep the momentum with you. Raise your hand if you want to share anything, which as we continue. So you're welcome to just raise your hand, and we'll pause and just engage with you, and also keep the chats coming. As I've noted that we are a team, as someone is presenting, we'll definitely also make sure that we respond to the chats. This evening is for you. For us, we're just going to take you through to say that what do we have and why are we saying that as IAC candidates who are waiting for results, as I was saying, Rukuzo, that we don't have to wait and only join APC, then we're already walking. The train has already started moving. We want to make sure, and sure that come December, I forgot the date. Come December, when you go sit for that PSYCA, ICANN assessment, you're sitting with it with so much full confidence because you've prepared well ahead. So I'm looking forward to that. If we can just move to the next slide. So myself, I'm going to take you through just the first couple of slides. And as I've noted, Asen is going to come through and take you through the program. And also Rendani is also here, and also the rest of the team. We're just going to take you through the presentation to make sure that we clarify any of the aspects you have. And we also, if there's a myth, we also deal with the myth so that we leave here with facts only, and so that you're well empowered, because information is power as well. So maybe if we can just scroll to there. Yes, I love the slide, the voice from some of the candidates who have been with us before. But yeah, maybe let me do this. Let me share from my side. Let me know once you can see my screen as well. Please confirm once you can, thumbs up, or maybe someone can say in voice. I cannot see my other.
Yeah, we're with you. We can see. Excellent.
Great, but I'm seeing a different screen on my side. Are you guys seeing one of our top 10 candidates there from ICANN, or you're seeing a different screen?
We're seeing top 10, but not presentation mode.
Presentation mode. Thank you, Asen. Sorted?
Sorted.
Great. So yeah, for us, we one of the things which we pride ourselves with is that we want to celebrate with you. We want to celebrate with you when you pass your IAC. We're going to celebrate with you throughout the program, because one of the things which you'll get to see is that also celebrating and appreciating and being grateful for the small wins. They build up to becoming the big wins. So one of the things, so these are some of just a couple of testimonials from our candidates who went through the journey with us. The one just in the middle is Tinashe, who was in our program in 2024, and he was actually the #1 candidate in ICA's assessment when it came out. And in that ICA's assessment, we had 4 candidates who were in the top 10. And we also, as you can see, we also have candidates who are coming from just different journeys. We've got candidates who are also coming from the CIMAP pathway. But for us is to say that as we are here to celebrate each and every milestone with you. And as I was saying, that we can't wait to celebrate with you when you pass your IAC. And as you also journey to becoming a CA, we can't wait to celebrate with you. As you even pass, I'm going to say pass for now, those class tasks, as you also go through the mini case studies, the mock case studies, eventually getting certified and also sitting for ICA's SAICA ICANN APC assessment, and come the 27th of February 2027, we'll celebrate with you as you put a stamp on you becoming a chartered accountant. So we have had the different aspects of some of the what worked or what was a highlighting point for those who have came before you. And as you journey through our program, I'm hoping that you'll also find that particular aspect, whether it is the feedback session. And I think for those who had joined us for the IAC, you'll see it's just a continuation, that the feedback which you're going to be having, whether it's the consultations which you're going to be having, whether it's access to the CTA videos, you'll also get to make this program to be relevant for you and get the best value out of it. And for us, one of the things to say that why I'm also saying that, yes, we have heard about what Buhle, Tinashe, Ntabiseng, and Yanano has said about the program, but what we want you to have is owning the program yourself. Making sure, I was saying to one of the comments to say that I want to pass I want to pass APC and become a CA. For us, the results coming in February, on the 10th of April for IAC, the results coming out for APC. For us, that's just the end goal, but you need to become a chartered accountant now. And what does that mean? It means that you need, I always say that you grow up with a role model, and I want you guys to have a different perspective to it. Become your role model, that person who you're saying that, so I wish to become that person. Become that person. Look up to yourself. Challenge yourself to be the best version of yourself. Challenge yourself to be excellent. Become your #1 fan. And this is one of the things which we have embodied this year, which we want you to journey with it, to say that when we see the people who are in the top 10, when we see people passing on first attempt, when people see people becoming successful business leaders, impactful business leaders in the communities they're in, is because one of the character they have is they are what #1 fan. And what does that mean? Is that one, as you're journeying through this, you need to know your why. Understand your why, clarify your why, maybe even reassess it so that it's so clear to you. And I always say that, why do you need to know your why? You're going to need your why. You need your why because it propels you. You need your why because even when you hit a stumbling block, your why will keep you to say that the reason I am here, even when I'm going through this, is because of that. And you keep your eyes on that goal, and that is what will matter. The second part is that you need to show up for yourself. And one, you being here, you are showing up to yourself. Someone will be saying that I just wrote IAC, I don't need to, I just need to take a break. But you need to show up in order for you to be the best version of yourself. You need to make sure that you're taking initiatives for the things which reflects you showing up for yourself, showing up for your why, showing up for your dream, showing up for becoming the best version of yourself. And this is you also becoming your number one fan. You want to become a CA. There are those aspects which you need to invest towards becoming the CA. You want to become, sometimes it's not even, there's a reason why you want to become a CA. So there's even a bigger why. So in order for you to realize that why, you need to invest towards it. If you want to become a well-spoken person, it's not going to work by you just always being in the background. It means that you need to make sure that you find yourself in spaces where you're able to make sure that you harness the skill of you being well-spoken. You harness the skills of you engaging and communicating with others. So you want to become a CA. So you need to invest towards that why. And one of the things which I always say is that, and I'm not dissing anything, is to say that you remember that a CA, of course, now you can't use that CASA, you can use that CAZ in your name. You can use it in your space. Say that Erewani Mutero. I used to do that, Erewani CASA, and that used to propel me every time. And you wake up to say that, what am I doing differently to show that I'm a CA? Remember that we are just working towards it. We are becoming a CA. So when you're engaging, when you're sending emails, when you are engaging about the financial affairs, are you engaging as though you are an ordinary person? Or are you engaging as a CA? How are you investing towards, and I think with the new CA of the future, you'll hear about the personal values and attitude. Are you living them, or are you only reading and studying them? And you'll get to see that even in APC, and also you as becoming a CA, it's not only in the classroom. It's not only when Rendani and Asen says you must do ABC. It's you embodying it and becoming it. So it means that I always say that what you're eating, what you're engaging with, is it reflective of you becoming the best version of yourself? And I think that's one of the things, they always say that, no, I'm not on diet. This is a lifestyle. Are you having a lifestyle of a CA? Are you becoming the best version of yourself? The things which you're doing, are they investing towards this best version of yourself? This role model you have of being the best in whatever you want to be the best at. So it's important that you invest towards your why. And part of it is that whatever decisions you make, they need to be towards you realizing your why. And again, you'll see, you guys, I'm sure you know that as you walk this journey and also becoming the best version of yourself, you need to be kind to yourself. You need to be kind to yourself. One, of course, you need to be kind, not to be, doing a disservice to yourself. Like instead of you having to be doing something which adds up in you becoming the best version, you do the opposite of it. For me, that's not being kind to yourself. You need to make sure that you're kind to yourself. You need to be kind to yourself because as part of what us and the team are going to be having throughout this is part of fine-tuning you. And in that process, there will be some of the feedback which may not be so kind. So it means that you need to be kind to yourself. You need to be kind to yourself, that you see feedback as a development area, not as a reflective of who you are, but it's a reflective of where you are at a particular point in time, and you can better it. So you need to be kind to yourself, and you need to celebrate your small wins. Like I said, that for us, we are here to make sure that we also celebrate with you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you becoming the best version of yourself. I'm looking forward to you becoming a CA that even people, they can't even differentiate the one who's got APC and the one who does not have APC, because you guys are going to be becoming, right? So I'm looking forward to that. And I hope that you guys are going to also invest towards becoming your number one fan, and invest becoming that well-rounded business leader, the competent business leader. I'm going to pause here to see if there's anything before I hand over to Asen to take us through the program structure. How are you going to make sure you become the best version of yourself? how are we going to do that? Asen, maybe they want you to answer it first and then they will come through. I'll be waiting for how you guys are gonna be.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be waiting for how you guys are gonna make sure that you become the best version of yourself.
Absolutely. Maybe that's why everyone's like, hang on. Let's hear from Martha. I'll tell you one thing, everyone. I think showing up is a phenomenal first step to becoming the best version of yourself. And the energy that we had at the beginning of this session, that is showing up to be the best version of yourself. I love some of the answers regarding building on, continuing the relationship, the building on the network. I want to become a chartered accountant, and I think Elia has already reframed that. Naledi saying being disciplined. That is absolutely a core part of being a best version of yourself. So you all have the answers, which is incredible to see. And I'm going to take over from here to show you how our program is designed to walk this journey with you as you become a chartered accountant. I think Ele shared some incredible points that are very relevant to the program structure and how we've designed the program, centered around what Ele shared, which is really at the core of our program, that being your number one fan and becoming an entry-level chartered accountant, and always remembering, as Ella mentioned, that's not about sort of just an exam. It's about whom we're going to be as sort of being entry-level chartered accountants, and how we're going to get there in the program. So thank you so much, Ella, for that. I think before I jump into it, sort of a brief introduction of myself. So I'm Asen Malola, and I'm part of the team that is going to be walking this journey with you in the APC comprehensive program. As Ele shared, I am the academic head of the program. I'm taking care of academic, sort of the academic areas of the program, including the program design, which we're going to be walking through together. Of course, supported by Ele, whom you've already met, and Rendani, whom Ele also introduced in the background, is the core management team as part of the APC comprehensive program. Of course, we are all supported by a vast professional team, specialists in various areas that we're going to be speaking through as part of this conversation, and also specialists and senior marketing teams that are also intricately involved in this process, walking through this process with you, and also those team members available for consultations as part of this journey. So just a brief overview. We're also supported, of course, by a vast team of caretakers. Dineo leading the charge, and so supporting Dineo are specialists in various operational areas, ensuring a seamless experience throughout the program. So with those sort of introductions aside, you've already shared with Ele what you are expecting from the session, which is fantastic. But again, it's a fully interactive session. So if I say something that sparks a thought, that sparks a question, if you want me to dive deeper into something, it's your session, and that is at the core of the APC comprehensive program. It's designed for you. So we assist, we develop where you require that assistance or development. It's not a sort of black and white cookie cutter approach. It's a tailored approach to your development. And we'll show you sort of how we've incorporated that into our program as we walk through it. So please feel free to jump in, unmute, raise your hand, or pop a question in the chat. The team is available to support. So as candidates are sitting here this early evening, You are coming off the back of either having just passed IAC or having just written IAC, or sort of passed IAC/ITC sort of previously, and you are looking to charge on your journey to sort of becoming a chartered accountant, and you have one hurdle, one of many hurdles that you have to overcome, being SAICA's APC assessment towards the end of the year. To get there, you need a program, a professional program, to support your journey of becoming a chartered accountant and being your #1 fan. And here is how the program is essentially designed for you to enhance your to ensure your success. And as I go through it, I think that the feedback from all of our previous candidates as well will be highlighted around the importance of our 9-point competency framework, our approach to feedback and consultations being sort of highlighting points. So let's walk through it. So our comprehensive program is split into 3 core phases. So we've got the foundation phase, we've got the development phase, we have the assessment phase. The foundation phase has begun, is currently ongoing, and really, if I can put the foundation phase in, I guess, in a sentence, it's really an early journey of discovery. Why I picked those words early, I think ultimately because you can see it as a head start and a good start to your development. Because as an AEC candidate, you have a vast treasure trove of technical knowledge that you're coming into this program with. Now, that technical knowledge is crucial for a crucial competency of an entry-level chartered accountant, the person that to whom you are becoming as part of this process. A crucial person that you're becoming as part of this process, but an being a chartered accountant rather is a person that has many more competencies. These competencies are generally grouped in 3 categories, right? You've got the technical competency, to which I'm sure most of you are quite already familiar. Then we've got the professional values that Ele spoke about earlier on. And also we've got enabling competencies, right? The competencies that assist you to sort of act and be as a chartered accountant. What the foundation phase is ultimately designed to do is to introduce you to those concepts or enhance those concepts, because coming from IAC, you may still be, because of the alignment of that particular exam to the APC style of assessing, you may have already become familiar to these types of concepts, but then almost taking you further on that journey, sort of solidifying your understanding of those concepts and how those 3 areas of groups of competencies work together in terms of this particular sort of process. So in the foundation phase, we're going to sort of introduce the concept of a SA, so you know exactly what you're becoming. We're going to introduce you to the approach or the approach of how APC assesses. And then we'll introduce you to some of those foundational concepts that I just spoke about just now regarding the competencies. What we'll also do is tell you exactly how the case-based assessment works. So not only how SAICA will assess you at the end of the year, and how we will assess you throughout the course of the program in the assessment phase. So you have a core understanding in terms of how the assessment is designed, what is expected from you, and what you can't and can't do through the assessment period. Now, leveraging on your strong or typically strong technical competencies as IAC candidates or previous ITC candidates, we will use that as the foundation through various live sessions to demonstrate to you all and work together in how technical competencies show up in a case-based assessment. Now, this is a key area, particularly for IAC previous ITC candidates. The reason why this is so key is because coming from ITC/IAC, you're very used to a black and white technical in or out sort of type approach of thinking about technical competencies. The real world doesn't work like that. And because, as we'll sort of cover in the foundation phase, psych is a sort of examining approach in the case study-based assessment, and therefore our examining approach tries to simulate real life. In other words, it simulates a real scenario that you encounter as an entry-level chartered accountant and see how you sort of respond in those scenarios. Technical competency shows up in a very different way. So a core part of the foundation phase is bridging that gap. Because like I mentioned earlier on, we've got those 3 core competency areas. So professional values, enabling competencies and technical competencies. Technical competencies is strong, but we really need to just focus and build more on those 2 other competencies in order for your stool, your 3-legged stool, to stand strong. So we've designed the foundation phase in such a way that it will take you on this journey of just bridging that gap in an area that we would typically see when it comes to IAC candidates, ITC candidates coming into the APC world. I'll also admit, I wrote APC a number of years ago. It's something that I also I'm struggled with. I did extremely well in my ITC exam. APC was really a massive learning curve for me because I was just too technical, right? And that all of a sudden became a development area rather, in terms of how do I translate that technical into and strengthen my other sort of enabling competencies and professional values so I can give holistic professional responses. So that is exactly what we focus on. Importantly as well, and I mentioned that it is an early sort of opportunity, just foundation phase, is that it enables the early identification of development areas. And this is crucial going into the development phase. And we'll talk more about the development phase shortly. But really, what's also quite important to remember about not only your journey of becoming a chartered accountant, but also just life in general, is that mistakes are not a negative thing. They are merely learning opportunities, right? They're opportunities for growth. And it is really only opportunities for growth that are not seized. That would be the failure or the mistake. So what we're also trying to do in the foundation phase is almost create this environment, a safe environment, where we can have these discussions, we can experiment, we can test, we can learn, we can practice, and identify the areas that we seem to be comfortable with. Like I mentioned, for an IAC, ITC candidate, typically the technical is quite okay, solid. But then you're going to be identifying some of these enabling competencies like business acumen, understanding businesses, critical thinking, making judgments, identifying ethical dilemmas and addressing ethical dilemmas. That you're going to be like, maybe, or business writing and communication. Like, maybe I need to sort of work on this a little bit more, right? Because even though I know the technical issues or the matters, I'm struggling to deliver my message in such a way that will help me become successful in this exam. You identify your development areas. And together within the APC comprehensive program, and we'll run over some of the support that is available to you throughout the program. You identify your development areas, and then you go ahead and put together a plan to address those development areas, together with sort of working along with the program. So that enabling that identification of development areas is crucial. And again, also just allowing you to actually experience the gap between what IAC is all about and what APC is all about. And then we can almost like put together a plan, a bespoke plan for you to bridge that gap, a personalized plan for you. What's also quite important is mock exams in the process. So although throughout this and we'll go into a little bit more detail in terms of some of the specific sessions you can expect in the next slide. But although there's a lot of us walking together with you, hand in hand, sentence by sentence, comment by comment, thought by thought in our sessions in the foundation phase, there's also a huge opportunity for you to then sit a simulated test or exam. In this case, it's a mini case study, so it's half of a full case study, right? We'll talk about what a full case study looks like in the foundation phase. And then once you sit that exam, you get comprehensive NI feedback. What does that mean? NI is our sort of AI platform. That is our novel AI feedback system driven by AI that allows for real time or get close to real time, a couple of minutes later, feedback as you do class exercises, as you sort of submit mock exams, and you submit your assessments in the assessment phase. That's all I'm going to say for now, because I've got a dedicated slide for this sort of feedback system, which as you would have seen in our feedback on the slide from previous candidates that Ella shared, one of the keys to success of our candidates in the past has been that very detailed and personalized feedback. And that goes all the way back to the point that I made earlier on, that when you join the APC comprehensive program, you're just not another number. You are an individual that's becoming a chartered accountant, and your development needs and your areas that you need to focus on are unique and specific to you. So you need a feedback system that will give you that unique and bespoke and specific feedback so you can work on your journey, which is going to be very different so my journey, if I was a candidate, would be very different to Tafadzo's journey, for example, if Tafadzo was a candidate following this particular journey. So we'll talk about that in our feedback shortly. And also, like I mentioned, we'll talk about some of that support that's available in the following slides. Right now, I'm just focusing on the actual structure of the program. So following the mini case study and following those feedback sessions that we'll have, again, I'm going to show you sort of in a lot more detail what that looks like in the next slide, because it has a bit more of a breakdown. We flip into the development phase. Now, the development phase is a crucial phase, an add-on. So it's almost like another thing that's important to note about our program is that we work with building blocks, right? So it's important. LA asked, what are you doing to be your number one fan? What are you doing to put yourself first? What is important is that dedication and presence. I saw discipline as one of the responses in the chat from day one, because there's a lot that needs to be done. There's a lot that Ella mentioned early on. It's important to be kind to yourself, because this process is no joke. It's not simple, right? Don't let anyone sort of lie to you. However, it's important to almost like eat, how does the saying go? What you can eat an elephant in bite-sized pieces or something along those lines, right? As opposed to just trying to put the whole elephant in your mouth at one go. Similar concept, right? We do it step by step, chunk by chunk. So it's important that you keep with the rhythm and the cadence of the program in order to then sort of go from one phase to the other. So what as an IAC candidate will you have, or an ex-IAC, IATC candidate will you have following the foundation phase? You will have a core understanding of what it is to be a chartered accountant, which is really, and how to be your number one fan, which is really at the core of everything. That's at the foundation. You're going to have a core understanding as to how, from a psycho perspective, they assess whether or not at the point of you writing an exam, you are an entry-level chartered accountant, right? You are ready to be, right? They want to know whether or not they can give you that designation, right? In order to demonstrate that you already need to be that, right? You're not going to be it when you get that. You're not going to be a chartered accountant when you get that paper, that certificate, that psycho mails to you, and the gift that they give. Right? That's not when you become a chartered accountant. It's right now, actually, right? That exam is really just to say, okay, let me just check quickly. Okay, cool, you're good to go. Here's your certificate. So you're going to have a core understanding as to how psycho essentially checks quickly, right? Is this person an entry-level chartered accountant, this candidate. You're going to be familiar with our 9-point competency framework, which again, going back to the feedback Ella shared, was a core reason that was shared as feedback from our previous candidates to their success. What is the competent 9-point competency framework? It's developed from SAICA's pre-qualification competency framework, and it's really at the core of how we work through the competency areas that you need to be comfortable with, right? Technical competency obviously is one of those. Towards the end of the session, you hear us talking a lot about time management competencies as well, right? So it's 9 competencies that we'll go over in the foundation phase that you'll be able to understand what they are and what they entail. And also it's at the core of the feedback that we share, right? So the feedback that you get, from our sort of feedback system with the 9 will be across those 9 competency areas. So you know which areas do I need to work on? Do I need to work on my technical, which, like I mentioned, typically unlikely for candidates coming from IAC, ITC. Do I need to work on my business acumen, right? Typically, yes, this is an area that we all need to work on. Do I need to work on my critical thinking as with regards to applying judgment? Yeah, typically this is an area that ITC, IAC candidates need to work on. Do I need to work on my communication skills? Yeah, definitely. This is an area where previously IAC, ITC candidates we typically need to work alongside with you on to prep you for the APC, right? Now, you have your knowledge of the 9-point competency framework. You have all this feedback and these discussions from that allow you to identify the area that you need to develop, like I've just described now. You have an understanding of the gap between IAC and APC in terms of what you need to bridge. You also know what you're already good with, right? You know what you're covered, what you're already sorted. You have a little bit of a taste of how the assessment works and how the processes at End Number works and how the feedback system works. And then you're going to come into the development phase armed with all of this amazing ammunition. What then can you expect from the development phase? We'll just do a quick refresher, right? Because there's a little bit of a break between the 2 phases. So we'll do a little bit of a refresher of the foundational concepts, particularly that 9-point competency framework, because it's so important. We'll do a little bit of a refresher to the structure of the exam, etc. So just to rehash a couple of things, just to make sure we're still aligned. Because one of the other things that we found that we want to really make sure never is not the case is sort of learning concepts in the foundation phase, and then all of a sudden sort of completely forgetting about them by the time we get to development assessment phase. We want to continuously remind you and link it all back, because remember, we're building. So we're always going to link it all back to the initial concept we're learning so you can see how it all works. Now, the development phase takes, so whilst in the foundation phase, we used our technical competencies as the base, and then we use that to demonstrate the gap that you need to close, i.e. we use that to sort of show and sort of give you a little bit of an intro and a little bit of a teaching as well on the other sort of competency areas, which are enabling competencies and professional values. In the development phase, we switch it up slightly, a lot, but slightly. Now, our session that we're going to have together will place primary focus on the enabling competencies and the professional values and attitudes. But however, what's quite important to note is ultimately, as we will learn in the foundation phase, these competency areas do not what's what I'm looking for, do not stand alone. It's a 3-legged stool. So as being a chartered accountant means being able to demonstrate all 3 competency areas at the same time. So professional values and attitudes, enabling competencies, and technical competencies. Whilst in the foundation phase, we focused on technical competencies and showed you how enabling competencies are brought into this world, and how professional values and attitudes are brought into this world. The development phase, as a base, we focus on the enabling competencies and professional values and attitudes as the base. But because it's a 3-legged stool, there's always going to be technical elements to the phase, right? So an enabling competency will seldom stand alone, right? You'll, for example, be thinking about critical thinking and applying judgment in the world of accounting, or applying judgment in the world of valuations, right? So it's always going to come together in a three-legged stool. So we're really going to be emphasizing that three-legged stool mindset while touching quite significantly on the enabling and professional values and attitudes. What is also quite important in this development phase is that we'll also be having specific sessions, like a specific specialized session, if you want to call it that. One being sort of what we call how to perform technical research, but it's really to assist you in terms of on a granular level, how to maximize the time that you have to perform some pre-research in the case study-based assessment, which we'll explain in the program. We also have specific workshops as part of the development phase. And the idea behind these workshops really is to enhance those enabling and professional values and attitudes, type competencies in which we have seen and believe and have seen feedback from SAICA that typically need a lot of work or development, or typically SAICA does not see great performance in. A big example of that is communication. Communication is at the core of becoming a chartered accountant or being a chartered accountant. Because if you're unable to deliver a message to your stakeholders, then it doesn't matter how strong your technical knowledge is. Doesn't matter how good of a CA you are. If you can't communicate and share and deliver messages or have an impact by communicating, really, I mean, to be honest, I could say this about any competency, right? Because, like I said, it's a three-legged stool, right? You have to have all of them to be. So, in light of that, we have various workshops tackling certain sort of specific areas that we believe are quite important in your journey. For example, we've got a business writing workshop to which we obtain external service providers who specialize in assisting actuaries to simplify very complex concepts. This is similar to the challenge that as an IAC, ITC candidate you're going to have, is because you come in so hot and strong with all the technical stuff, all the technical jargon, all the technical knowledge, and you really want to push this forward. Whereas really communicating all that technical, it's really an art when it comes to being a chartered accountant, when it comes to passing the case-based assessment, when it comes to passing APC. So business writing workshop really is designed to sort of help you through that process. This year, we also have digital acumen sessions. As you can imagine, in the world of this rapid advancements of technology, and in light of sort of the chartered accountant of the future, from a SAICA perspective, thinking about SAICA, thinking about what the chartered accountant of the future looks like, being able to navigate this world of a rapidly changing technological environment is crucial to a chartered accountant's competency competencies. To that end, we have designed bringing in a digital acumen workshop as part of our program to assist you with navigating these new realities that chartered accountants need to navigate. Coming from an IAC, sort of more recent exam, you may have gotten a taste of this already, but now seeing this sort of all out in an APC format is what the objective of those sessions will be. We also have some other sessions around just business acumen, helping you sort of understand different types of businesses is another sort of, for business acumen is another area where feedback from SAICA has been that more work needs to be done by some candidates attempting the APC. So we have some workshops and some presentations throughout the development phase that assist with developing that competency area. Of course, we have a mock exam in this phase as well. Now, this is now a full-on exam. So in the foundation phase, it was half of an exam. Development phase will be a full exam, right? Again, it's a mock exam, so it's a practice exam, but it's a great opportunity to not only practice almost writing the full exam, because it's quite a feat and quite an effort writing the full exam, but also that feedback that you're going to receive. And again, we'll talk a lot more about this feedback that you're going to receive. So sort of park that thought for now. However, this is also important for you when you attempt the mock exam, to get that personalized and very quick sort of feedback turnaround in order to assist your unique development journey. Lastly, then we flip into the assessment phase. So this is ultimately the phase where you will sit various case study based exams or assessments, and ultimately the phase where you will be awarded the Indonamo APC certificate should you meet the eligibility criteria to be awarded such certificate. The assessment phase involves sitting at least 2 exams, depending on your performance. And an additional supplementary exam is also sort of a SAT, again, depending on the eligibility for the supplementary exam or your eligibility for the supplementary exam. The focus of all these exams, of course, is to assess professional competence in the same manner in which PSYCA assesses a professional competence, and the same, and also not only the exam itself, but also the manner in which we perform the assessments, i.e. They are venue-based assessments. They are going to be online in a similar manner as you do the PSYCA exams, and you're going to use the same programs that you're going to be using for the PSYCA exam. So a lot of practice goes. So yes, it is form of you being assessed to determine whether or not you're eligible for APC certification from Indonamo, but also it's still more practice. And to that end, there's a common misconception, or potential misconception rather, that this is the phase where as lecturers we're like, okay, we're done, we're washing our hands as a professional team, we've done all the development, we've done all the lecturing, we've said what we need to say, now let's assess, mark, give you marks, walk away so we can just decide. No. We are still with you in the assessment phase. In fact, not any less than we are with you in any of the other phases, right? Because again, this is at the your development and sort of learning from mistakes and planning about what you're going to do to rectify your mistakes or issues or development areas are still going to be popping up throughout these exams. It's very important for us that you're still getting that comprehensive and personalized feedback from your performance. It's important for us that you know exactly how you were assessed, so we're fully transparent. It's important for us that we assess consistently, robustly. So we've got a comprehensive marking process and a comprehensive marking team, human marking team, that is involved in assessing and reviewing and ensuring that our assessing is fair and sort of consistent. But we have an appeal process to ensure that fairness as well. But we still, even though we are giving you comprehensive and AI-driven feedback, which again we'll run through shortly, we're still having live sessions to reflect and feedback in terms of helping you bridge that gap between what good would have looked like in a particular case-based assessment versus what you experienced, helping you then identify those gaps. And then we're still available to help you bridge those gaps via consultations and other mediums that are available throughout this process. So throughout this phase, sorry. So I'm going to pause here because I've covered the structure of the program, touching a little bit on the support that's available. The next slides cover really the support that's available question. But I want to just pause here just in case there are any questions on the structure. And I know there have been comments in the chats and questions. So I'm just going to work through that and see if there's anything that I can help that hasn't been addressed yet. Cool. Yeah, not too late at all. Thank you, Danelle, for responding. What was the answer? It's that it's not too late. Of course, you can join the foundation phase at this very moment. Reach out to the team, register. I think Ella will cover in more detail what that looks like. But importantly, our sessions are recorded. So ultimately, firstly, the sessions that have been had, if that's the word, they are available immediately. So I think the quicker the better, to be honest. for you to sort of jump in and have a watch. And also, you'll find once you join us, we are a very open community. So accessing the professional team, accessing sort of your caretakers is really easy peasy. And then when you sort of join, you'll find Engage. So that's the platform we use to engage. And then you will see quite a lot of, in fact, myself and Rendani and Ele trying to drive that engagement, like really wanting to hear from everyone. So you might be thinking, but I've missed the live session. So what's the point? Like, absolutely not. You can jump in, watch the live sessions, so you can get up to speed, get all the documents, any clarifications, any questions. You can just pop them on Engage. We're all available to assist you and answer your questions. And we've got private consultations, which we'll cover sort of shortly, also available to help you sort of catch up and get up to speed. So there's plenty there's plenty time to join, and it's definitely not too late. Cool. Any other questions? I saw an email address questions. I think that'll be sorted soon. Love it. If we can go to the next slide, let's talk about the support. LAP, fantastic. Thank you. So I think I'm going to chat about the support as I work through some elements in this timetable. Now, don't worry not, I'm not going to sort of work through every single line. This is just a snippet in terms of the foundation phase sort of design, just to help us talk about a couple of elements. A lot of the elements we've already spoken about, so I'm not going to rehash things we've already mentioned, but I just want to just pause and reflect and call out key things sort of as we go along. So I think the foundation phase would have commenced with an introductory to APC and foundational concept session. We spoke about what that looks like or what that means. But more importantly is the second session, 1.2, which was a recording for everyone anyway, is the 9-point competency framework. Now, this framework is a vital part of our program. And you would have seen from the feedback that Ella shared from our previous successful candidates that did very well. They realized this, and the candidate said, and I'm going to quote, or quite try to quote, I used the 9-point competency framework like a map. Brilliant. I couldn't have said it better myself, to be honest. What does that mean? It means that this candidate used this 9-point competency framework to inform what I do, what I'm trying to become, and the feedback I'm getting, and my sort of development around, and how I think about attempting, like how I think about responding to the task. I always think about the 9-point competency framework, right? Brilliant feedback. Not surprised of that successful outcome for that candidate. We unpack this framework. In this particular year, we're going even a step further and going even another level deeper with sort of unpacking the 9-point competency framework in general, but also drilling deeper into each one to give you a more holistic view. And excitingly, in the 9-point competency framework is that digital acumen that I mentioned, which is also one of the competency areas that we are going to cover. And I think while I'm here, one of how we support you, what I'm going to cover at this point, which makes sense, is the live classes. So not only did we have a live first class, but we have sort of live classes. So if you see contact session 1.3 all the way down to 1.11 are live sessions. They're going to be exactly like what we're having now. And these are interactive sessions. We encourage interaction. These are your sessions, just like this is your session. And I'm loving all the questions coming into the chat. I'm so sorry if I keep sort of pausing and stuff because the comments coming in are distracting me a little bit, but please don't stop popping them because there's a team behind. I just need to get better at just focusing. So it's on me. Keep throwing the comments in the chat, please. Now I'll lose my train of thought. Yes, so these are sessions designed for you. So we encourage engagement, we encourage questions, and there are live sessions where you can engage with your lecturers and the professional team. Now, you will notice, like if you have a look at contact session number 1.5, right at the end, it says task attempt. So one of the things that we've also incorporated into our sessions in the foundation phase are these, or throughout the program actually, are these class attempts. Because it's one thing to just talk about all of the stuff, but it's important to let you have the opportunity to put rubber against the road so you can actually see, you can actually see for yourself how it feels in order to demonstrate a particular competency area or to perform a particular task. So we've got dedicated time for task attempts within our classes. But to take it a step further, every point that you see a class attempt, that comes with an assessment of your attempt by our internal sort of assessment and feedback tool, that NI tool that I mentioned, which in a couple of minutes after you submit your attempt, you get comprehensive feedback on your attempt, which we'll run through in the next slide shortly. Then this means that after you attempt the task, we'll be able to immediately have a contact session after that, after we've given you an opportunity to reflect on your feedback. And then we talk about it. We talk about what good looks like in terms of attempting the task. You are armed with the feedback in terms of how you perform the task. Then we reflect and talk about how we bridge the gap. You'll notice in the foundation phase, there's accounting, audit, math, management, accounting and finance, and tax. So like I mentioned, we're using the technical competency as a base to help you sort of bridge the gap from technical to enabling professional values and attitudes, to the three-legged stool, to the chartered accountant, to passing the APC exam. What is important, immediately as you register, now that I'm talking about technical competencies, you will have the CTA videos available to you on day one, as Ele mentioned. Anyone that was with us in IAC will be well familiar with these videos, or ITC in the past. Right? Our sort of vast library of lecture materials is available to you. So you, as Ele mentioned, don't have to go to Google, don't have to go to the end of the world to find the stuff. It's there already, right? Easy peasy, there for you to jump right in and sort of upskill where you need to upskill. How you go about upskilling, we'll talk about it in the session that we have in the foundation phase. Then if you look right at the bottom, where we say practice, mini case study, I think we already spoke about the mini case study and the feedback you'll get, which we'll touch on in a lot more detail in the next slide. So I'm not going to still go into a lot of detail on that. However, just notice on the last line, feedback session, again, so after you attempt the task, we will assess, we will give you personalized feedback, and we're going to come back together in a feedback session live, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about what good looks like for that mini case study. You will be armed with your feedback and reflection, and we'll talk about how we bridge the gap in the sessions, how you develop, what you need to do. But we'll also share things such as common trends we're seeing, right? It's very easy to pick those up in terms of what are the common mistakes we're seeing, how do we suggest you resolve it, what are the common things that we're seeing that are doing fantastically well, and how do we make sure that you keep that momentum going? We'll be sharing all of that across the mini case study. We won't be giving you sort of live feedback for all the classes in the mini or the tasks in the mini case study. Some may be given to you via screencasts, where we think that delivery method will still give you that impactful sort of feedback that you need. Just quickly looking at the last little column here, just to see if there's anything. Then the private consultations throughout. Those are available to you throughout the program. This gives you access to not only our senior markers, but our professional team as well that I described earlier on. You can book these consultations into sort of diaries or whatever time sort of is convenient for both the professional team and markers and yourselves, right? Where you can sort of, so we have a booking system where you can see the availability. So you can have those private one-on-one consultations. Earlier as mentioned previously, like, some of us were comfortable to sort of ask questions and probe and challenge in a public forum. But sometimes you want to talk about something and it's encouraged. But sometimes you want to talk about something that maybe you don't really feel comfortable talking about. There's so many people, or maybe it's not really appropriate to be speaking about something so specific to you. That or do you think it's more specific to you? So you want a more one-on-one sort of approach. That's available. And then if you look at the yellow column on the right-hand side, really it's very simple to talk about all the technical stuff, all the black and white stuff, and all the tick boxes, and forget about talking about you as a person. That mistake or that issue does not happen in the APC comprehensive program. As Ella would have noted, sort of in the introduction and the session of Be Your Number One Fan, it's you are actually at the core. You're the foundation. You are the most important piece to this puzzle. So wellness, you will see, runs all the way down, right, to show that the prominence of the importance of your wellness, or the importance we take your wellness throughout this program, this comprehensive program. Now, wellness is not just your mental wellness, right, to which we have the private consultations, to which you can sort of experience some coaching. But it's also your wellness in terms of you just being taken care of in the program, right? Having your sort of needs or requests or issues being taken care of by our phenomenal caretaking team that I described earlier on. A team, massive team, sort of also there with you, walking the journey with you, making sure that you're taken care of not only from an administrative perspective, from onboarding to getting access to all the systems, to any question that you may have, to maybe some finance sort of query that you have, to whatever the case. If you need support, in order to sort of if you need like a leave letter or something, or just there sort of to support you as a comprehensive caretaking team. So really your wellness being ensuring that you are well taken care of throughout this program, holistically taken care of, is at the spine, like I mentioned. That's why it runs all the way down through the slide, right? If you don't have that spine, that core, really everything else doesn't fall to place. And that's why at Endodamo we place prominence on that spine. I'm going to pause here to check if there are any questions. The sort of focus on this sort of detailed breakdown is only on the foundation phase because that's the phase that you're going to be joining. But in the development phase, a similar approach is taken. Only difference would be sort of mini case study would be the mock exam. Instead of the technical competencies will be the enabling competencies. And then there'll be the workshops also scheduled that I mentioned. And then the refresher that I mentioned will be some of the key differences between the two timetables. But ultimately the structure, the approach, the support has been sort of, will be quite similar. Okay, I'm going to pause here before, because I know the next slide is, again, at the core of our offering. So before I jump into our feedback system, I want to just see if there are any questions. I just want to monitor, have a look at the chat as well to see if there's anything. So I see we've got some responses. Awesome. Thank you, Ella, for addressing the question around the foundation phase versus ABC, two completely different offerings. And yes, we have an open day for the ABC program as well. So you're able to contrast and compare the purpose of the programs, and then you can almost sort of decide which program is best suited for you. But even in that decision, you are not alone. That Endodamo team is available to talk about sort of how you're thinking around which program you think is better for you, and then we're always here to assist in terms of bouncing off thoughts and telling you, or giving and sharing some advice in terms of what we believe makes more sense, and then sort of helping you make an informed decision. But yes, the ABC program is a fundamentally different program to the foundation phase. The comprehensive program. Okay, I don't have any unmutings, and I think Ele sorted out the question in the chat. So thank you for that, Ele. If you can go to my last slide. Thank you. Our feedback system, which is NI enabled. This is another core part of our program. And you would have found in our feedback that Ella shared from previous candidates at the start of this presentation, one of the keys to success was that specialized, that the specific, bespoke, personalized feedback that that candidate received that was crucial for their success. Here is a sort of a couple of screenshots highlighting some of that feedback. Now, I know this is quite a wordy sort of slide, so worry not, I'll walk you through it, and we're not going to walk through every single word, but there's just a couple of very important themes and items I need to highlight and show you to give you a flavor of what that bespoke personalized feedback is. I always say when it comes to feedback, it's quite an important feedback, not only just for the Endonamo program, the comprehensive program, but life in general, your working relationships, your family relationships, friendships. Feedback is such a powerful thing, but feedback, if delivered incorrectly, can be an extremely blunt tool. So what makes feedback effective, right? It's a lot of things, but a couple of things really stick out for me. The first is the speed of the delivery of the feedback, right? Sort of timeliest feedback is far more impactful than delayed feedback. So if something does not really go in the way that one would have expected, or maybe you don't even know that something didn't go well, right? Something happened in your mind, nothing has went well. Being given that feedback in a couple of minutes or maybe an hour later versus being given that feedback 6 months later, right? Much different impact, right? 6 months later, really, no, I mean, you won't even remember so then it becomes he said, she said. So that timeliest nature of the feedback is quite an important pillar. The other quite important pillar is identifying the observation, right? What is it that you've seen that is almost triggering this feedback? But something, also, what have you observed, right? And that is almost aligned with sort of being specific, right? Feedback needs to be extremely specific in order for it to be effective. As a person receiving feedback, you need to know exactly what it is that you did, that you said, that you didn't do, or that you didn't say, that potentially would have been perceived in a particular way. And then that's the next bit, the next pillar of effective feedback is making it very clear what the perception is, i.e., this is what I observed, and therefore this is what it suggests. And the reason why that is quite important is because for feedback to be effective, the person receiving the feedback needs to be the one to make the reflection and to devise a plan of action to address the issue that they agree is an issue. You're never going to be able to force feedback on anyone, and you're never going to be able to make anyone do what they need to do. It's up to that person receiving the feedback to get the feedback, internalize it, reflect, and devise an action plan. And then once an action plan is devised, the next core pillar of effective feedback is accountability. You as the person receiving the feedback, me as the person receiving the feedback, and the person providing the feedback, we need to come together and ensure that we are accountable in terms of our development areas of what we need to do, and that we're doing what we need to do, and therefore whatever happens in the future will go the right way. That is ultimately the ethos of our feedback system, empowered, enabled by NI. So the first pillar I mentioned, timeliness. You can expect NI feedback in the form of a report with elements that I'm going to share on screen shortly within minutes of the task attempts that we spoke about. Of the mock exam after for the mock exam and the mini case study, right? Also quite eminently for the assessments following the sort of the marking process, right? There's a bit of a longer marking process that we sort of follow through to ensure that consistency of our assessing and the rigor as well. But feedback is really timeless, even in the assessment phase. It will be clear what the observation is, and we'll run through a couple of examples now and what that means. So I'm going to pause there before sort of going through the other pillars, because I want to just show you some examples. So follow me on the slide. So I'm going to describe where I'm reading so you can follow me and engage with me on the slide, because like I said, I know there's a lot going on. So top left-hand side corner, we have the box. That's has quite sort of a few paragraphs in there. But most importantly, in bold, you'll see EPC's 9-point competency framework. Like I mentioned earlier on, this top left box is more like an introduction to the report that you're going to receive, which tells you the objective of the report, what you can expect to see, and et cetera, et cetera. So just there re-highlighting or re-emphasizing the importance of that 9-point competency framework, because we ground our feedback on that competency framework. Remember our previous candidate that mentioned that they used the 9-point competency framework as a map. This is how that worked, right? You're going to be able to use this report, and it will enhance your ability to use the 9-point competency framework like a map. If you follow sort of towards the middle left of the screen, you see a table that says task A, task B, task C, and then next to it there's CC, BC, CLC, HC. You get a summary of your task level outcomes. We'll explain what all of that means or we have explained what all that means in the foundation phase sort of sessions. You will just watch the recording once you join us. But that's ultimately your outcomes at a task level. If you look at the box that is orange, I think that color is like a light orange. That is a summary of your overall performance in a particular task. You'll see the candidate that was screenshotted here came in our top 10 overall for the baseline case study of last year. And you see in terms of the specificity of the feedback, it's a bit of a tongue twister there. It even starts from the overall feedback, right? So you'll see, and I'm quoting, so after the congratulations for securing top 10, next paragraph says, the Nyala Vapes case study presented a complex and dynamic business environment, requiring candidates to demonstrate not only technical proficiency, but also the ability to apply integrated thinking and ethical judgment and strategic insight. So you see, our case studies are designed to assess the three-legged stools. And this feedback system is identifying that and telling you that as well. That not only did you need to be strong technically, you also need to demonstrate integrated thinking, ethical judgment, and strategic insights. Those are enabling competencies. Reading on the last paragraph, your submission stood out for its clarity, depth, analysis, and alignment with Endonamo's 9-point competency framework. So you can see exactly what you did. Goes even further than that, particularly adaptability, lifelong learning, and critical thinking. But this is an overview, right? So you can be thinking, but hang on, it's still a little bit high level. Like, I don't know how I've demonstrated lifelong learning and adaptability and critical thinking. Like, it's still not really specific, right? It's almost like someone coming to you and saying, yeah, that was a great meeting. You did well, right? It's good feedback, but it's like, but then can you tell me what it is that I did that almost meant that I did well? Like, so I know what to continue doing. And if it was like, okay, meeting, can you also tell me like, okay, what it is do you think that I could have improved to make it a great meeting, right? So you need that specific feedback. The second core pillar of great feedback, specificity. I don't know why I keep using this word, even though it's so difficult. The specific nature of feedback. So the specific nature goes a level deeper. What did you do well? So let's read the feedback that you're going to be getting. A bit of an example. You provided a balanced analysis of the primary and secondary indicators. So this is with regards to a functional currency assessment. So IAS 21. I'm sure a lot of my ISC candidates know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So a technical competency coming in strong. And it says competencies 1, competency 2, competency 3 in brackets. That competency 1, 2, 3 is making reference to our 9-point competency framework. Refer to the red box beneath the box I'm reading. So I'm sorry, right now I'm on the top right-hand corner in the orange box, but now I've shifted my gaze down to the red box in the middle-ish. Competency 1 in the table says good approach and response to all components of the task. Competency number 2 says demonstrates good technical skills and good coverage. And then competency 3 says demonstrates critical thinking on the day. So you know that because you discussed on a balanced nature the primary and secondary indicators of a functional currency assessment, because you did that, you're demonstrating those 3 competencies. It goes even more specific. So let's read the next sentence very quickly. So your discussion of sales price drivers, regulatory issues around legal tender and crypto, and dynamic price shows sound business acumen, competency number 4. Look at competency number 4, demonstrates business acumen. So now you know exactly what it is that you discussed: the sales price, the regulatory issues, in terms of legal tender versus crypto, and discussing all of that stuff means that you're demonstrating good business acumen. Right? So the feedback is extremely specific. But the opposite is also true when you don't discuss something. So certain review, so now I'm in the second paragraph there, back to the top right-hand corner. Certain review specific elements of Nyala BA were thin, so indicators X, Y, Z. You did not address hyperinflation risk, Y indicator, which limited higher level credit. So again, you did not talk about that. You did not talk about this. What about that? Etc. And even at the bottom there, so middle, so I'll continue to read. Generally wide clear, the memo occasionally includes not run-on sentences, inconsistent capitalization, and minor spelling errors that detract from your professional polish. Competency number 8. Competency number 8 communicates effectively, appropriately, and logically. So even though you've achieved a competency, right, these small minor spelling mistakes was taking away from your performance of competency number 8. So again, you see that specific feedback bespoke to your performance. Even in brackets there's examples of some of your spelling errors, right? Again, highlighting the specificity, the specific nature of your feedback. Doesn't leave you there. The report even gives you some advice going forward, right? I'm not going to sort of read a lot in this paragraph, but ultimately, it's just advising you to almost think first and almost about coverage, right? So make sure you're covering every sort of specific indicator first before sort of going on the higher level indicators. So what that essentially means is focus on the core of the task and don't worry about all the nice to haves essentially. So that's some of the advice that was coming through in this report. Going back to that red box at the bottom, you'll see, like we mentioned, you'll get your feedback over the 9 competency areas. And at the right-hand side of the box in the red, right-hand side of the square in the red box at the bottom right-hand side corner of your screen, you'll see achieved, not applicable, achieved, right? So even though competency 8, for example, says it's achieved, you still have that feedback regarding how you did a few things that were sort of taking away from your achievement of this competency, but overall, you still achieved it. Okay. So again, highlighting that specific nature of your feedback. Just to give you a little bit more in terms of that specific nature of your feedback. Often we get queries, and you probably experience this as well in IAC, where you look at the solution and you're just like, man, no, they talk about deposit here. Or you look at what we call the marking grid, and you see that there's an indicator or which is, I want to say effectively a mark, but it's not really, right? It's an indicator that talks to deposits. Why wasn't I awarded this indicator for deposits? I've written about the deposits here, right? Those questions are very common in all of our professional journeys throughout these exams and professional programs. Our feedback it addresses that too in terms of being even more specific in terms of, and the transparency of how you are assessed. So for example, if you look at the bottom left-hand corner, there was an indicator that was had a reference P5, and it spoke to the candidate needing to correctly identify that refundable deposits should not be included in income. And this indicator was not awarded. Following that, you read a reason. While you have mentioned deposits, you did not explain why they should have been excluded from income, which is necessary for the credit. So again, giving you that specific reason as to, yeah, I can see that you've spoken about it, but you didn't do something that's quite critical to this indicator, therefore it's not awarded. The opposite is also true. If you look at indicator P15, discusses at least 2 valid and relevant risks associated with skyways. So this is now what the candidate needed to do. That was awarded, yes. Why? You discussed multiple risks such as foreign exchange exposure, client concentration, and technology obsolescence, providing reasons for their impact. This meets the requirement for P12. So, sorry, I'm not sure what I described where I'm reading. I'm reading at the bottom left-hand side corner. Again, giving you exactly why you were awarded the indicator as well. So you know what it is that you did that got you that indicator. Now, we will explain, or we have explained, and you have the video available immediately once you join the foundation phase, what an indicator is, what a marking grid is, what a straw man is, what outcomes at the task level is, outcomes at an indicator level, outcomes at the case study level. All of that we explain in terms of how the APC exam works in the foundation phase. Therefore, once you join, you have that video available immediately, and you will be able to get going. Now, I mentioned that a key part of another key part of feedback is the person receiving the feedback reflecting and owning the feedback. That is where LS Be Your Number One Fan comes in. That is where the discipline, the responsibility comes in on you to take this feedback and work through it. Doesn't mean that you have to agree with it. Don't get me wrong, right? There can be elements in the feedback that you don't agree with. Now it's your responsibility to come and consult and ask. There could be elements that you do agree with. Your responsibility to say, okay, fine, how can I how can I sort of work through this? This is what I was thinking. How do I do this? In Dunamo, we are with you throughout the journey always. So we're not going to leave you to do all of this yourselves. We're here for private consultations is available to assist you through the process. Remember, feedback is co-owned. So we just don't throw the feedback at you and say, you deal with it. As a person providing the feedback and receiving the feedback, we co-own it together. We are both accountable for this feedback. How do we demonstrate that co-accountability for this feedback? We are available for private consultations. We are available on Engage. We are available when you have the live feedback sessions where you can pop in and ask your questions and share some of your thoughts and insights. We are co-owning, and those are just a couple of examples. We are co-owning the feedback. And then by the time we're done, we have ensured that the feedback system has remained extremely effective. You are developing as we go along, and you're really coming through to the assessment phase, and it's just a tick boxing exercise really at that stage. You're walking through the APC exam, it's just a tick box exercise at that stage. Why? Because you have become a chartered accountant through this process. Therefore, when you go to these assessments, you are still an entry-level chartered accountant. You can demonstrate that because we've worked through how that works. And then because you've demonstrated it, it comes through in your results, and you sort of walk away with the successful outcomes. That is the intention. The journey is not going to be easy. The journey is not short. It's a long journey. It's an arduous journey. But you have to be kind to yourself. But we have designed the system to work in your favor to help you develop and become a chartered accountant. I'm going to pause here. Feedback is the breakfast for champions. Absolutely, Leroy. Absolutely. It's really that repositioning, that relationship with feedback that creates champions. I'll tell you one thing. Pick your champion. Pick your sport. I know we all watch a lot of sports. Or pick your profession. You can even go all the way down to a YouTuber, right? How did that particular YouTuber that you watch, that sporting professional that you watch, that professional your role model, whether it's the CFO, CEO of a group, whomever your role model is, how did they become great? They listened to feedback and adapted, right? Even a YouTuber, right? Ask them, how did you get so many views? How did you get so many followers? They'll likely say, listen, I tried a lot of things. I saw these type of videos really got views. These ones didn't. I just made more of the ones that got more views, right? Because they listened and worked with their feedback. So absolutely, Leroy, I actually like that as my closing statement. I'm going to borrow that statement before I hand back to Ellen and say feedback is the breakfast for champions. Love that. Ellen, over to you.
Thank you so
Please share some questions. Sorry, Ellen, for cutting you off. Yeah, please feel free to pop some questions in as well. I'm still around. Let me know of anything. But yes, sorry, Ellen, over to you.
Thank you so much, Asen. On those 9 competencies, as you become part of the family, you'll get to know which one is number what. Number 9 is time management. I think I'm gonna see how Asen pace me. I think it keeps on taking 5 minutes of my time almost everywhere. So they will be saying not competent to my academic head.
And now you will say not achieved.
Yes, not achieved. But yeah, that is as it may. We also have a special guest. We always say that it's always great that me and Asen will come here and tell you all the great things about the program. But we also would like to appreciate the others who have come and gone through the program. And I think the amazing thing about having individuals who have gone through the program, they get to share the experience. I think one of the things which Asen was talking about was when he was talking about well-being. For us, one of the other aspects which they it's also a great add is that we have those who have walked the journey to come and share their journey. And that also helps you to have a different perspective. So tonight we also have Brenda. Brenda was our candidate from ITC, and she also got to be go through our APC as well. So you're going to be not hearing from us, but from someone who has gone through the journey in terms of what for her worked. And for us, this is her journey. She's now a chartered accountant, and she has walked her journey. And I'm hoping that as she also shares her journey with you, you'll get to also learn what may also resonate with you, how she was able to show up for herself, and if there's anything you can take from that. And I'm hoping that there will be something which will take from her, which will also help to make your APC journey and the journey of becoming a chartered accountant become a reality from her. I'm just checking. I see Tim, she's still, I do not see, maybe Brenda, you can just check from your side if now you're able to share. And also if you're able to open your, you should be able to open your mic and your camera as well. Welcome. And thank you for coming through. And maybe as she does the checks, I am also just gonna quickly trying to open some words from her. But yeah, maybe Brenda, you can just also just do those quick checks if you're able to project, you're able to open your mic and so forth. And you can just do your highs as we do those checks as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Ele. Thank you so much, Endunamo. It is such an honor to be joining you on this open day. Welcome, everyone. I think this is the best decision that you have made of just coming here to listen in and make your decision from there. And also for your time that you have made. My name is Brenda. And yeah, I'm a chartered accountant. So let me try to see if I can switch on my camera. Okay. Here's the new chartered accountant in town. Okay.
I love the excitement. I love the excitement.
Yeah. Like there's a huge weight. Guys, it feels so good when you're on the other side. So please forgive me. I'm not bragging, ne? But there's just this something, that you feel when you're on the other side. So honestly, whatever is being projected here is a true reflection, honestly, of how I'm so grateful to the Endunamo team. I started with Endunamo on my ITC journey, and it just rejuvenated me. And up to now, I went back again to do my APC, and I'm proud to be an Endunamo alumni. So yeah, it's good to be here. That's all I can say for now. So I'm gonna switch off my camera so that I can just share so that I can just share my screen. Just hold on for me. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, so I'm not going to be seeing hands, but please, you're welcome to stop me on the way should you have anything that you need to ask me. So first of all, let me reintroduce myself again. Okay, I'm a CASA and Endunamo product, and this is just one thing. I can't get enough of this. Congratulations, you've completed the APC program, because me being a CA, it started on this. So if I can just try to break down what I'm going to be talking about, the introduction I did, and then my journey to becoming a chartered accountant, and what is APC, what to expect. This is, I'm not going to dive deep into it because I think the academic team, they've already introduced you to what it is, right? In case you had that fear of unknown, that you just hear people saying there's a board course, there's APC, and you really don't know what it is, right? And why Endunamo Africa, right? And just some few encouragements and insights. So, okay, this is another introduction. Ish, I had missed to say that I'm also a mom of two and a wife, and I'm just someone who is passionate about empowering others, right? So I'm standing here as proof that this journey is tough, but absolutely possible. The fact that I made it, right, being a mom and a wife and a daughter-in-law, it means that whatever circumstances, and also as an article clerk, it means that whatever circumstance that you are facing, it's possible to make it to being a CASA, right? My journey of becoming a CA, it was a long journey, right? I'll just try to break it down. So I finished my honors degree by the University of Zimbabwe. That was in 2017. And then in 2018, I did my CTA bridging course with UNISA. I passed on first attempt. You see, in 2017, even my honors was cum laude. But let me show you, we're gonna go down. And then 2019, I did my CTA. I passed on first attempt. And then 2020, I think that is the stage that most of you are in, the ITC stage. And then I went in and wrote my ITC. First attempt, I failed. Second attempt, I failed. And then that's when I took a self-reflection, and I'm like, this journey, at times you need soldiers to walk it with. It's not that journey that you can walk alone. In as much as I was an academic giant all the way from 2017, a cum laude student, but there are some stages in this academic journey that you need some soldiers to walk with you, right? And then that's when I approached Endunamo, and they did assisted me with my ITC, and I passed on the third attempt, right? And then 2024, so I then had a gap between my ITC and my articles, right, due to other reasons. So I was only possible for me to write my APC in 2024. I came back home again at Endunamo. I did my board course, and then I passed the board course on first attempt. And then I went to SAICA and passed again on first attempt. And then on 2025, the results came in. I became a registered chartered accountant and a tax practitioner. So just in summary, my journey wasn't linear, but it was mine, right? And every setback prepared me for the next step. So at this stage that we are in, right, I'm not sure of your individual circumstance, but all I can say is every person's journey is unique, right? Some of you right now might be waiting for your ITC results, right? Some of you, it might come out positive on first attempt. Well done, right? And then some of you, it might not come out positive on the first attempt. Me, I did 3 attempts, right? It means you need that endurance. I'm not going to lie to you that this journey is easy, but you need to endure because it feels good when you're on the other side. So whatever outcome is going to come, right? Please don't let it derail you from the goal. You know the goal that you want to be a chartered accountant. Go back and study again, right? And you may end up needing the warriors, like the soldiers, to assist you walking this journey, because some of it, when it gets like the higher you go, the cooler it becomes. You need these professional boards to help you with the tips. And I'm telling you, it was worth it, right? And you can see that it was just this stage that I seemed like I'm stuck. But if I had not asked for help, probably I might have been stuck there and ended up giving up. So that was my journey. And then in terms of what really is this APC, right? And then I know the professional team have already briefed you, right? And you might think probably they are marketing or they just want to make it seem like what it is not, right? But myself, I'm a testimony. I've been through it. So whatever I've been listening through, whatever that they told you, that APC is another level that is different from ITC. I'm not sure of this new ITC curriculum. Probably it resonates more to APC, but it's more of professional competence, application of knowledge, communication and judgment, real life business scenario, group work, and time pressures. You are going to sacrifice time, and time is not always available, but it means you need to create the time. You need to be able to work as a group with other people for you to succeed. There you go. You really can't do this alone. You need people to help you. So what really to expect, right? Just to calm your nerves on this journey to APC, I would say you have to expect growth. You have to expect discomfort. That's not a lie. You have to expect transformation. There are things like a lot of unlearning and relearning. So some of the people, right, or some of you here might have probably taken APC from previous other board courses or wherever, right? And another goal, right? You need to transform where you unlearn and relearn. The professional team is going to tell you exactly what you need to do. So you need to be open to that transformation, open to to being receptive to whatever that they are teaching you. And please trust them because they've been in this for quite a long time. And expect a huge relief when you arrive alive on the other side. When you eventually arrive alive on the other side, there's going to be relief. So it's not going to be smooth, but it's worth it. And then, just in brief, the advantages of completing the program with Endunamo Africa, right? I'm telling you this from my personal perspective. I think I joined at around past 7, so I'm not sure what else the professional team has told you, but this I'm sharing from my personal experience, right? The first advantage, remember when I told you that, let me go back, my ITC was 2021, and I only got to write APC in 2024. So I had a technical gap, right? So Endunamo Read was hands-on in rebuilding my technical. Like some of the things, even my CTA notes were becoming irrelevant because there were a lot of changes in the tax legislation, etc. So with Endunamo's board course, right? It's really interactive. That gives you access to course material. So that course material is up to date and it helps you to rejuvenate. Like what Ason was saying, you don't need to go to Google now to go and Google about something. They give you the access to all the CTA material so that you can revitalize your technical knowledge should you be falling short in some areas, right? And I think it also covers the second point, right? The other advantage is access to up-to-date CTA learning material. They give you the notes, the question bank, the lecture videos. And then the professional team, I'm telling you, they are experts in what they do. And especially the fact that they've got so much patience. In those live videos, your mics will not be muted. You'll be allowed to ask and you'll be interactive sessions. And also the marking process is very comprehensive and it's tailor-made with comments that are specific to you. And one thing I liked about Endunamo is that, let's say you write an assessment, right? Because the marking team, they are also human. In as much as the process might have been reviewed, your script might have been reviewed maybe by 2 or 3 people before releasing. Maybe your point was too vague, right? And you feel like that no one else was able to interpret it, but you feel like you really deserved a point. There is room for appealing at Endunamo, which I think it's something that I applaud them for. Because at the end of the day, in some of the board courses, they might say the scripts have gone through vigorous marking, so there's no room for appealing. So that's one thing that captured my heart as well. And then you also have access to write the assessment at the Endunamo venue for all year round preparedness as you wait for the SAICA big day. So I remember even in my mock exam, the first assessment, I would encourage everyone who is probably close to the venue. Me, I was coming from Pretoria East to go to the venue. So by the time I then went to that scary Galaka, right, I'd already practiced how it feels writing this exam in an exam scenario, right? They also provide you with guest speakers for coaching, for motivation, and also they give you they invite some industry experts. Like for example, I remember in our scenario, they invited someone in the mining industry. They invited someone just so that at least they can unpack that industry in detail, because the SAICA industry that they are going to put on your SAICA exam, it's a mystery to everyone. So they try to get you exposed to a lot of industries so that you understand that in as much as the industries might be different, let it not hinder you or panic you, but the concept will still remain the same. So one thing about APC is you are going to be tested. Maybe they will trigger a marine industry, right? But the concept is still going to be the same. The principle is still going to be the same. So that's one thing I also liked about Endunamo. And they also have got caretakers. I remember when I was doing my APC, my caretaker was Nonhlahla. I'm not sure if she's still around. Thank I think I was muted. I'm not sure where I last I ended last, but I think go to the caretakers program. I was also saying they also have got helpful caretakers, right? That they are not just, for me, what I felt at Endunamo, in as much as yes, they are in it also for business. It's not just about academics. They also make you feel at home. So I really enjoyed that. And also their one-on-one consultations. You can even consult with the Rendanis, with the ASON. It was really helpful. So, and it's free consultation. So I can go on and on and on. So some of these things that I have presented here, probably you would have heard them talking about those things. And you can relate. So they were not window dressing anything. They were not lowering anything. From me as a testimony, I really experienced these things. And thank you so much, Endunamo, for that. And then, so before I go to, I think let me just finish off, and then I'll take in, since our time is running out, I'll take in the questions. And then the encouragements, the few words of encouragements that I have is, the first one is endurance. I mentioned earlier, the journey is not easy, but it's doable. That is why the designation is prestigious. So if I made it as an article trainee, a wife, a mother of two, a daughter-in-law, a Makoti, I think some of you can relate. So it means you can do it too. You just need to endure. It's not going to be easy. And then you need to put in the work. Trust the process. Trust your academic team. Trust whatever that they are going to teach you. If they say this is how you should put on a review note, trust the process. Do as what the academic team is telling you. And if you put in the work, trust the process, and then God will do the rest. And then you need to start early. Don't wait to say, I'm going to start in June. I was told that APC is just a professional program. It tests you about professional competence. I'm an audit manager or I'm a supervisor already. So I think I know all those things. Please start early. Time flies. And at times where you now plan to start, the work commitments, they might start piling up. So start early to in this program. That's why I think also at Endunamo, they actually also start early, so that by the time you get to the final finishing line, you the whole year, you'll be in a mini blast furnace where they will be molding you to make it at Saika. So please do start early. Don't be hesitant, but please start early. And also consistent. Be consistent throughout the year. Don't relax. Start as though you are writing Saika next month. Thanks to Endunamo for the lectures, etc. They help you to keep active, and you also need to attend and actively participate. So there's this tendency where you start very low, right? And you think, I'm going to pick up maybe in June or July. I remember when I started, right? I was even going to the SAICA website to revise those past exam papers. So by the time we even wrote our first assessments at Endunamo, I already knew some of those things. So be consistent. Just start as though you are already writing the SAICA exam maybe in June or something along those lines. So don't relax, because the moment you relax, you won't realize how the time would have flown, and catching up might be very difficult. And then also focus on the goal. Please don't listen to negativity, right? Other people will say, we are papa. Hey, when you participate, you know, those live videos, those live lectures, please ignore the noise. Ne? You are the one who is paying. Maybe let's say even your company is the one that's paying, but you are the one who is attending. You know what you want to achieve. Please actively participate. Other people, if you ask a question, you just let us on slide, because or pass through a section that you would not have understood, because you are scared of people labeling you that, this one always asks questions. you need to get value for your money, make your money work. And those people, they are very, very patient. So please ignore the noise. Also, no institution is perfect, but please focus on the goal, right? You might, for example, let's say you are going to write you are going to write an exam. They might actually, let's say, a few network glitches. I'll give an example, right? And you end up losing focus on everything, and you now think Endunamo is bad, and you are no longer even listening to whatever that they would say, or let's say just anything happens, or probably or probably they were tied up with something, they reply you 2 hours later, and it changes your whole perception and your mood and your everything about the program. Please focus on the goal, right? Also choose a group wisely, as a group can make or break your journey. And also, when you are in a group, actively participate. Actively participate, it means you are just not going there to listen to other people doing the triggers and whatever, and you taking their research. It will catch up with you later, right? You need to actively participate in the group. I remember when I was doing the program, I would research all the whatever on my own. And then we would have allocated tasks to each group member, but I would make sure that I research the whole paper on my own, so that when the other person is presenting in the group, I can be able to add value or ask or whatever, because I'm not just going into the group to listen into what they are saying, but to add value. So please, let's choose our groups wisely, and don't just sit in the group and fail to reprimand something that you feel is not right. So please, a group can make or break this journey. And one thing for sure is you can't make it without a group. And also create the time. The time is not, you can say, no, I'm busy with work commitments, etc. Time is not available, but you need to cut on some wants so that the program fits. So if you have other things that you feel like for this whole year, they are wants, they are not needs, you can cut on them. I remember when I was doing this program, I didn't have any social media platform on my phone except WhatsApp that I was just using. It's easy for communication, but I had no Facebook, I had nothing else on my phone. And then the exam venue strategy, like I mentioned, you can, if you have the time, please write the exam at the venue if need be. And if you are online, please don't cheat on yourself. It will catch up with you eventually. And then you also need to develop an exam technique. This exam technique, you need to develop it early. As you are going, have a spreadsheet where you write all those exam techniques and develop. It's going to be your cheat sheet when you prepare for the final exam. So this, you need to build it throughout the year. That is the purpose of this program, to build your exam technique throughout the year. So final words for me. Before I also get a Nana achieved on time management, you are not here by mistake. You have what it takes. The designation is prestigious because it requires resilience. That's why there are few CASAs. So that's all from me. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm happy to support and answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much, Brenda. I love this. You see, when we say that for us, it's not only also just you being a CA. She has become a CA. She is even acknowledging the time, that time is important. You just do not tick a box at the end. You become one as you go through the program, and you also continue being one, because we want to also point at you to say, there's Brenda. She is a CA, and not be saying that where can we hide her. You need to make sure that you continue to represent the profession so well. Thank you so much, Brenda. I was even taking notes. I'm sure my candidates are asking, she's busy writing notes. I continue to learn because I'm also a lifelong learner. So I was also taking notes for my candidates. For those who are going to forget, I'm going to even do snippets so that I remind you about not being a passive team member there when the team parts come. And also, I'm also going to be following up when you don't submit last tasks or come for a particular case study. You're going to be telling me that you were busy. I'm going to ask how you were how you were investing towards your why and reprioritizing, because it's important that you remember why you are here. It's just 1 year. Make it 1 year. I think
That's true.
essentially, yeah, you want to make it 1 year. But maybe before she leaves, 1 or 2 question, maybe anything for Brenda from you guys before I let her go.
Your candidates are ready, Ele, you see.
That's good. That's good. I'm also
They are
happy that
ready.
I'm happy. I'm happy, and I'm glad that they're ready. And maybe team someone Ribu you can share the registration link, and maybe just one last clarity, because we accountants, we always have to do our debits and our credits and our provisions. For some of those who are thinking that and we don't want to think that, but we also need to also have a provision. This is a provision. Is it a contingent liability or provision? Yeah, Asen, where's my technical skills here for accounting? In case, so you can even when you're waiting for your IAC results, we encourage you to register, because the earlier you start, the better. Time flies. Before you know it, you're going to find that April, May, June is so short. And one of the things is we say that for us, we start the program early so that we make the mistakes now earlier, so that we're able to also guide you to making sure that you also make sure that you cross the line first attempt. So you're able to register, and in an unfortunate event that you do not make it, that whatever you would have, and we'll also share the communication for everyone, because that's one of the things we should need to consider, to say that what happens if you don't make it. On top of my head, one of the things which we can do is that we can transfer your credit into IAC, or you can even transfer your credit into the following year. But otherwise, if for us, we believe that all of you here, you're going to be ready, and you're going to be sitting for APC come December, one way or the other. So it's best that you already start working and becoming that person who's going to sit for APC come December. But otherwise, if there's anything else, you're welcome to just drop us. I think there was, I'm going to also share it again for those who did not get our email address. You're welcome to just drop us an email there. Dineo has shared the registration link, and as soon as you finish registering, you'll see that you're able to also get all the details. And if your employer is paying on your behalf, we do have a lot of payment arrangements with most of the employers, but for those who require confirmation, we don't need anything fancy, even if it's an email to confirm, to say, for example, if Dineo is registering with us, to say that you just need everyone to confirm, hi, please note that Endunamo will be responsible for Dineo's tuition fee. That email is sufficient. Remember, at the end of the day, it's written. As long as it's something written, whether it's an email or an approval of your tuition fee cover, we're able to utilize that. And we know that for most of the candidates, if this is your first attempt, the firms will pay for you. Naledi, please go for it.
Thanks. I just wanted to say congratulations, Brenda, on becoming a chartered accountant. I'm so inspired by your journey, and I resonate with parts of it, being a working mother of 2. So I really appreciated you taking us through what it took for you to get there, staying the course, not giving up. Even though there were, gaps in your journey, you still continued, you knew what you wanted. And I just love that so much. And I also appreciate that you just, explained how Ndunamu sort of supported you along the journey. And that's important for me. It's nice to get this firsthand experience from someone who has been with them, because this is a very difficult decision, and one of the most important ones, I feel, in terms of who to choose as a provider for APC. So thank you so much for your contribution.
My pleasure. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Naledi. Truly appreciate also the feedback, and we continue to also, if there's also anything which you need further clarity on, and you're very spot on. This is an important decision to make, and it's important because it also gets to it may influence where you end up being at in terms of your journey. So it's important that you also take those different considerations you need to make sure that they're cleared before you make that decision. Thank you, Brenda. But I think if there's nothing else, before I also get before I get also an not achieved, I think I'm already there. I'm on an orange. Before I get onto red, I'm gonna call it a night. But otherwise, I think we shared our different communication. Oh, Rendani's hand is up.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, I can hear you. Maybe someone else thumbs up from.
All right. No. I just wanted to say congratulations to Brenda as well. Yeah, and I think for me, it is quite important that one realizes everything that you're saying is quite important. And I think, Ada, you said it when we started, that it is not a matter of what you are going to be at the end, but it is a matter of becoming throughout this particular journey. And I think that's what Brenda's story was all about. Just to even see every engagement, interaction in the program as part of that becoming, it's very important. And I remember some of those appeals that she's talking about, that sometimes it was a matter of just coming from a BC to a C. And I was thinking, but you are there, like, is it not enough? But for me, I think it's quite important. You have to really be your number one fan. You have to be proud when those results come out. Know that you've given it your very best. And what it means that if it comes out the other way, then you have all these resources that Brenda was talking about, the consultation, the engagements, your peers within the program to really connect with and get to make it work. And at the end of the day, you're going to be proud. I really love how Brenda came in. And I think that for me, that's what I want to see from each and every one of you. I really want to see you come in, be excited, bring that energy that really empowers others. And I think for Naledi to also share that feedback, for me, that's very important. And this is what the Ndunamu brand is all about. We want to really make a difference. We want to make an impact, and we want to see you CAs making those millions, growing and having the best time of your life, and getting to impact others, getting to really put a seed in others, whether it's just a word or two. For me, that's very important, and I really appreciate you, Brenda, to make time to come and just share this journey with the prospective candidates. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Rendani. I truly appreciate. I had forgotten one thing, right? That I think it's important that I need to mention. The
Sure.
things that you learn here at Endunamo, right? Like they even work in your workplace, because I remember when I raise review notes or my people skills, I don't want to lie. When I raise review notes, my people skills, even at work, it just shows that I learned from the best. And I think one of my trainees is actually part of this meeting, right? And is actually also considering which journey, which professional course to, what do you call this, to consider. And you always comments like, Brenda, your people skills, the way you raise your review notes, the way you are so, and I'm like, I learned from the best. They tell you that it's not just about you knowing the standard, that this is wrong. You can't go to a CF or even anyone, a junior, and try to demotivate you. So whatever that you are going to learn here, it's going to be a full package that when you come out of this program, you are going to be a change to someone. That even if you want to, in your work, you want to tell someone that they are wrong, how are you going to tell them without what do you call this, without killing their ego? That's why there's this communication competence that they were talking about. So I really encourage it. I'm not marketing for Endnamo. I'm talking from my own personal experience, but at the end of the day, the choice is yours. Thank you so much once again, Endnamo.
Thank you so much. That's all from me. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you. I don't think I can even say anything further. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Rendani, and thank you everyone for making the time. We look forward to partnering with you, not becoming CAs, but becoming impactors and becoming business leaders, and also your own leader in every area you find yourself at. Have a good evening. Oh, sorry, Matsidiso. Let me not close you out.
Okay, sorry. Hi, Alelani. I just want to ask, was this the free session, the last one? Are we not gonna get another session that's free so that we can still decide, because we are still waiting for our IAC results? So, like, I'm afraid, I'm scared, like, to register first and then it doesn't go well. Are we gonna get some free sessions like before we register, or the sessions are already like for people who registered that are gonna pay? I don't know if I'm making sense. Hello?
You are definitely making sense. You are definitely making sense. So what we had said is that the session, please register, and then we had said that you will be welcome to attend the sessions, but the only aspect which we are not able to open for free because there's a cost attached to it is the assessments, which the candidates will have to sit for it. But like I said, from our side is to say that one, if you register and you pay the registration fee and then it does not go well, that can be rolled to be your tuition fee for IAC, or it can even be rolled to when you want to come back for APC, whether it's the catch-up program, which we have in June, because we do have a June APC catch-up program for those who will be sitting for the June IAC, or if for us, I think I'm always hopeful that come the 10th of April all will go well. But you're able to register, and once you've paid any fee we should have paid, if the results don't go well, you're able to roll it forward to either APC or IAC program for June. I don't know if that clarifies the question, Matsirizo.
Yes, thank you so much.
But please don't be scared. Let's positive energy. If it doesn't come right, it does not come right, but positive energy for now.
Thank you. I'll try to be positive.
All right, great. But yeah, please do register. As I said, that if it does not come right, we are able to do the credits or roll forward to whichever program which you find suitable.
Thank you so much.
Cheers. Thanks. Bye.
Cheers. Goodbye, everyone.